Namaste. Please recline and relax. Do not follow through what I am doing. Do not even watch the video, just listen. This is Neuro Linguistic Programming at the highest level. You may even do something else while the video is playing at an audible volume. Please enjoy with background music. Namaste. Atha Tvitiyo Dhyayaha Sankhya Yogaha Sanjaya Uvacha Tam Tatha Krupaya Vishita Mashurupurna Kulakushanam Vishwidanan Tamidam Bhagyamuvacha Mathusudanaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kutasatava Kashimalamidam Vishame Samupasatitam Anarya Jushirtamaba Anarya Jushirtamasavalgya Makiltim Anarya Jushirtamasavalgya Anarya Jushirtamasavalgya Makilti Maramarjuna Anarya Jushirtamasavalgya Makilti Karamarjuna Kalaibyam Ma Sama Kamaha Palta Naitata Bayu Papadyate Kushudram Hurudaya Daulbal Hurudaya Daulbaliam Tyakatubotishita Paranantapa Arjuna Uvacha Katam Pishimamaham Sangankye Turonam Cha Matusudana Ishupiha Pratiyotasyami Pujaiha Varisudana Guru Nahatva Hi Mahatunupavan Shreyo Pokutum Paishyamapiha Loke Hatval Takamam Sutu Guru Nihaiva Punjiya Pogan Rutirapuri Rutirapragati Rutirapradigatan Na Jaitad Vidmaha Kataranano Kariyo Yadva Jayama Yadi Ba No Jayayuha Yanena Hatavana Jiji Bisha Masate Vasatitaha Pramukhe Taitara Shirtaraha Gai Panuya Dosho Gai Panuya Dosho Gai Panuya Tosho Pahatasava Gai Panuya Tosho Pahatasava Pavaha Brajachami Devam Taima Samumbu Tachataha Yachachireyaha Syana Nishachitam Bruhi Taname Shishyasateham Shanti Mam Devam Prapananam Na Hi Prapashyami Mama Panudyad Yachichokamuchichosha no Minandriyanam Avapya Puma Basapatana Murudutam Puma Basapatana Murudutam Rajiam Surano Mapi Jatipatyam Sanjaya Uvacha Eva Mukutava Horoshui Kesham Kuda Keshaha Paranantapa Na Yotasya Iti 고비는 다무크트바 두셔누임 바푸바하 다무바짱 호르슈이가샤흐 브라하사는니바 파라따 세나요루 바열마티에 비쉬다는 담이담 바짜흐 시리 바가바 누바짱 아쇼지야 나는 바쇼짜뜨 아쇼지야 나는 바쇼짜스뜨밤 브라지냐 바담 시짜 바셔세 갔다 수나갔다 숨 시짜 나누 쇼짜는띠 바는도 있다흐 나 뜨베바함 자뚜 나삼 나 뜨밤 네메 자나 티바흐 나 짜이바 나 바비슈마흐 살베 바야마타흐 바라무 데히노스미니아타 데헤 가우마람 야우바남 자라 타타 데하는 따라 브라브딜티라스 따뜨라 나 무히아티 마드라 스파이샤 스투 갸우는 때야 시도시노 수카투 허카다흐 아가마 바이노니티야 스탐 스티티쿠샤스바 파라땀 얌 히 나 비아타야는 디에테 부르셔파 사마두허카수캄 티람 소무르따뜨바야 까르빠떼 나사또 비디아떼 바보 나 바보 비디아떼 사타흐 우파요라삐 드르실돈은 따스뜨바야 드르실돈은 따스뜨바나요스타뜨바 드르실돈은 따스뜨바나요스타뜨바다시피흐 아비나시 두 다드비드티 예나 살바미담 따따무 비나샤마비아야시야 나 가시체트 깔투말하티 아는따바는따 이메테하 니티아시오크따 샤리리너흐 아나시노프레마야시야 아나시노프라메야시야 타스마디우티아스바 파라타 얌 에남 베트팀 하는따람 야시자이남 마니아테 하타무 우파우 테우 나 비자니또 나얌 하는띠 나 하니아테 나 자야테 무리야테 바 가다지는 나얌 부드바 바비타 바나 부야흐 아조 니티야흐 샤슈바토얌 부라누 나 하니아테 하니아마네 샤리레 베다비나시남 니티얌 야 에나마자마비아야무 가탐 사 부르셔흐 발타 감 카타야티 하는띠 까무 바삼시 질너니 야타 비하야 나바니 그르흐너티 나로파라누이 타타 샤리라누이 비하야 질너니아니아니 삼니아티 나바니 데히 나이남 지는다는 띠 샤스드라누이 나이남 다하띠 바바카흐 나 짜이남 글레다야는 띠아보 나 쇼쇼야띠 마루따흐 아츠체디오 야마다 히오 야마 글레디오 쇼시오 에바 짜 니티아흐 살바가타흐 스타누라짤로얌 사나타나흐 아비아크토야마 찌는티오야마 비카리오야무치아테 타스마데밤 비디트바이남 나누쇼치토마하시 아타 짜이남 니티아자탐 니티암 바 마니아세 무르타무 타타피 드밤 마하바호 나이밤 쇼치토마하시 자타시야 히 투르보 무르틸 투르밤 자는마 무르타시야 자 타스마다파리하리엘테 나 드밤 쇼치토마하시 아비아그다디니 부다니 비아그다마티아니 파라타 아비아그다니타나니에바 타트라카 파리데바타 파리데바나 아시차리아 바트 파시아티 가시치테나마 시차리아 바드 바닷 가시치테나마 시차리아 바드 바다티 타타이바 짜니아흐 아시차리아 바치 짜이나 마니아흐 슈리노티 슈르트바 비에남 베다 나 짜이바 가시체트 데히 니티아마바티오얌 데헤 살바시아 파라타 타스마트 살바누이 부다니 나 드밤 쇼치토말하시 스바탈마마피 짜베쿠시어 나 비까문 비투말하시 달미아드티 유드타 즈치레요니아트 유드타 즈치레요니아트 쿠쇼트리아시아 나 비디아트 야드르츠차야 쪼빠빠는남 스발가드바라마빠 부르타무 수키나흐 구쇼트리아흐 발타 라파는데 유드타미 드르샤무 아타 제트바미맘 달미암 상응그라맘 나 가리시어시 따따흐 스바탈맘 길팀 자 히트바 바바마바 브시아시 아길팀 자비 부다니 가타유시어는티 데비아야마 사문파비타시아 자길팀마라너 다티리지아테 파야드라너 두파라탐 맘시아는테 드밤 마하라타흐 예셴 자 드밤 바후마토 부드바 야시아시 라카바무 아바지아바담 셰자 바후는 바디시어는티 따바히타흐 니는 다는 따스따바 사말티암 따또 두허카타람 누키무 하또 바 브라브시아시 스발감 지트바 바 포쿠시어세 마히무 따스마두 뜻티실터 까운는때야 유드타야 꾸르타니시자야흐 수카두허케 사메 꾸르트바 라파우 자야자야오 따또 유드타야 유지아스바 나이밤 바바마바 브시아시 에슈 데비히타 상응키에 부드티리오게 드비맘 슈르누어 부드티야 유구도 야야 발타 깔마바는탐 브라하시아시 네하 비크라마나 쇼스티 브라티아바요 나 비디아테 스바를 바마피아시아 달마시아 드라야테 마하토 마야트 스바바사야 미카 스바바사야 뜨미까 부드티레케하 구루나는다나 바후샤카 히아나는 따시자 부드타요 비아바사이남 야미맘 보시피땀 바짬 브라바다는 디아비 파시치타흐 베다바다라타흐 발타 나니아다스티티 바디나흐 까마트마나흐 스발가파라 자느마까이마팔라프라담 그리야 비셰셔바홀람 포가이시바리아가팀 프라티 포가이시바리아 프라사크타남 다야 바흐르타짜타삼 비아바사야 뜨미까 부드티허 사마타오 나 비티야테 드라이구누여 비셔야 베다 니스드라이구누요 파발주나 닐드바는 드보 니티아사트 바스토 니리오 가쿠슈에마 아트마반 야바날타 우다바네 살바타흐 사문불루토다케 다바는 살베슈 베데슈 브라흐마노시아 비자나타흐 깔마니에바 티카라스테 마 팔레슈 가다자나 마 깔마팔라 해툴풀마테 상응고스트바 깔마누이 요가스타흐 구루 깔마누이 상응감 디아크드바 타난자야 시드티요흐 사모 부드바 사마트밤 요가 우지아테 두루레너 히아바람 깔마 부드티 요가 드타난자야 부드타오 샤라너마는 비츠차 그르파노흐 팔라헤타바흐 부드티 요크동 자하디하 우페 수크르타도 슈크르테 다스마디요가야 유지아스바 요가흐 깔마수 가우샬라무 깔마잠 부드티 요크타 히팔람 디아크드바 마니 슈이너흐 자느마바는 타비닐 무크타흐 바담 같이 차는 디아나마야무 야다 때 모하칼릴람 부드틸비아티타리시어티 다다 가는따시 리베담 슈루타비아시아 슈루타시아자 슈루티비프라티 바느나 때 야다 스타시아티 디시잘라 사마타 바잘라 부드티스타다 요가마바 브시아시 알주나 우바자 스티타 프라지냐시아 까 파셔 사마티스타시아 케샤바 스티타티흐 김 프라파슈에타 기마시타 프라제타 김 श्री भगवानुवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्ततोच्यते 두허케시바누드 비그나마나흐 수케슈 비가타스푸르하흐 비따라카파야크로타흐 스티타틸무니루치아테 야흐 살바트라나 피스네하 스타트 살바트란 살바트라나 피스네 하스 따뜻따뜻 브라비아 살바트라나 피스네 하스 따뜻따뜻 스따뜻따 따뜻 야흐 살바트라나 피스네 하스 따뜻따뜻 브라비아 슈파 슈파무 나 비나는 다띠 나 드베시뚜이 따시야 브라지냐 브라티슈투이따 야다 삼하라떼 짜얌 굴몽은가 니바 살바샤흐 이는들이야 누인들이 이는들이야 누이는들이야 테피아스 따시야 브라지냐 브라티슈투이따 비셔야 비니발단은 때 니라하라시아 테히나흐 라사발잠 라소피아시아 바람 들으셨더바 니발따때 야따또 히아피 가우는 때야 부르셔시아 비파시치타흐 이는들이야 누이 브라마티니 하라는 티 브라사팜 마나흐 타니 살바누이 사미야미야 유그타 아시타 마트바라흐 바셰히 야시에는들이야 누이 다시야 브라지냐 브라티슈투이타 디아야또 비셔야는 봄사흐 상은 갔을 때 슈바자야때 상은가드 산자야때 까마드 꾸로토피자야때 꾸로타드 바바띠 사문모하흐 사문모하드 스무르띠 비프라마흐 스무르띠 프람샤드 부드티나샤드 브라너시아띠 라가드 베셔비 무크다이스투 비셔야 니는들이 야이시자라느 아드마 바시알 비테야 아드마 브라사다마티가츠 차띠 브라사데 살바두허카남 하니라시오 바자야테 브라사는 나짜타소 히야슈 부드티흐 바리아바디슈터테 나스티 부드티라 유크타시야 나짜 유크타시야 파바나 나짜 파바야타흐 샤는 티라 샤는 타시야 쿠타흐 수카무 이는들이야넘 히 짜라탐 야는마노누 비티야테 타다시야 하라티 브라지냠 바율나 바미밤은 파시 타스마디아시야 마하바호 니구르히다니 살바샤흐 이는들이야 누이는들이야 테피아스 타시야 브라지냐 브라티슈투이타 야 니샤 살바푸타남 타시암 자갈티 사미야미 냐시암 자그라티 푸타니 사 니샤 바시아토 무네흐 아부리야마너 마짤라 프라티슈텀 사무드라마 파흐 브라바샤 브라비샤는티 야드바트 다드바트 까마 얌 브라비샤는티 살베 사 샤는티 마 부노티 나 까마까미 비하야 까마니아흐 살바는 뿌맘 셰짜이라티 살바는 뿌맘 셰짜라티 니허스 뿌르하흐 Nilmamo nirahangangarahu sa shanati mati gachachati. Esho brahmi satitiha palta nainam prapya vimuhyati. Sthitvasyamanan takalepi brahma nirvana murichati. Brahma nirvana murichati. Tattasaditi Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatusu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayahu. Namaste. Sanjaya said, unto him thus possessed with pity, his eyes filled and oppressed with tears, and desponding, the slayer of Madhu said these words. The Holy One said, whence, O Arjuna, hath come upon thee at such a crisis, this despondency that is unbecoming a person of noble birth, that shuts one out from heaven, and that is productive of infamy. Let no effeminacy be thine, O son of Kunti. This suits thee not. Shaking off this vile weakness of heart, arise, O chastiser of foes. Arjuna said, how, O slayer of Madhu, can I with arrows contend in battle against Bhishma and Drona, deserving as they are, O slayer of foes of worship? Without slaying preceptors of great glory, it is well to live on even alms in this world. But slaying preceptors, even if they are avaricious of wealth, I should only enjoy pleasures that are blood-stained. We know not which of the two is of greater moment to us, viz., whether we should conquer them or they should conquer us. Those slain whom we would not like to live, even they, the sons of Dhritarashtra, stand before. My nature affected by the taint of compassion, my mind unsettled about duty, I ask thee, tell me what is assuredly good. I am thy disciple. O instruct me, I seek thy aid. I do not see which would dispel that grief of mine, blasting my very senses. Even if I obtain a prosperous kingdom on earth without a foe, or the very sovereignty of the gods. Sanjaya said, having said this unto Sri Kesha, the chastiser of foes, Kudanga Kesha addressed to Govinda, saying, I will not fight, and then remained silent. Unto him, overcome by despondency, Sri Kesha, in the midst of the two armies, said, the Holy One said, thou mournest those that deserve not to be mourned. Thou speakest also the words of the wise. Those, however, that are wise grieve neither for the dead nor for the living. It is not that I, or you, or those rulers of men never were, or that all of us shall not hereafter be. Of an embodied being, as childhood, youth, and decrepitude are in this body, so is the acquisition of another body. The man that is wise is never deluded in this. The contacts of the senses, with their objects producing heat and cold, pleasure and pain, are not permanent, having a beginning and an end. Do thou, O Parata, endure them. For the man whom these afflict not, O bull among men, who is the same in pain and pleasure, and who is firm in mind, is fit for emancipation. There is no existence of anything that is distinct from the soul, nor non-existence of anything possessing the virtues of the soul. This conclusion in respect of both these hath been arrived at by those that know the truths. Know that to be mortal, by which all this is pervaded, no one can compass the destruction of that which is imperishable. It hath been said that those bodies of the embodied, which is eternal, indestructible, and infinite, have an end. Do thou therefore fight, O Parata. He who thinks it to be the slayer, and he who thinks it to be the slain, both of them know nothing, for it neither slays nor is slain. It is never born, nor doth it ever die, nor having existed will it exist no more. Unborn, unchangeable, eternal, and ancient, it is not slain upon the body being slain. that man who knoweth it to be indestructible, unchangeable, without decay, how and whom can he slay or cause to be slain? As a man, casting off robes that are worn out, putteth on others that are new, so the embodied, casting off bodies that are worn out, entereth other bodies that are new. Weapons cleave it not, fire consumeth it not, the waters do not drench it, nor doth the wind waste it. It is incapable of being cut, burnt, drenched, or dried up. It is unchangeable, all-pervading, stable, firm, and eternal. It is said to be imperceivable, inconceivable, and unchangeable. Therefore, knowing it to be such, it behoveth thee not to mourn. Then again, even if thou regardest it as constantly born and constantly dead, it behoveth thee not yet, O mighty armed one, to mourn thus. For of one that is born, death is certain, and of one that is dead, birth is certain. Therefore it behoveth thee not to mourn in a matter that is unavoidable. All beings were unmanifest. Only during an interval, oparata, are they manifest. And then again, when death comes, they become unmanifest. What grief then is there in this? One looks upon it as a marvel. Another speaks of it as a marvel. Yet even after having heard of it, no one apprehends it truly. The embodied oparata is ever indestructible in everyone's body. Therefore it behoveth thee not to grieve for all creatures. Casting thy eyes on the duties of thy order, it behoveth thee not to waver, for there is nothing else that is better for a Jatariya than a battle fought fairly. Arrived of itself, and an open gate of heaven, happy are those Jatiriyas of Baalta that obtain such a fight. But if thou dost not fight such a just battle, thou shalt then incur sin by abandoning the duties of thy order and thy fame. People will then proclaim thy eternal infamy, and to one that is held in respect, infamy is greater than death itself. All great car warriors will regard thee as abstaining from battle from fear, and thou wilt be thought lightly by those that had esteemed thee highly. Thy enemies, decrying thy prowess, will say many words which should not be said. What can be more painful than that? Slain thou wilt attain to heaven, or victorious thou wilt enjoy the earth. Therefore arise, O son of Kunti, resolve for battle. Regarding pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat as equal, do battle for battle's sake, and some will not be thine. This knowledge that hath been communicated to thee is in the Sankhya. Listen now to that in the Yoga. Possessed of that knowledge, thou, O Baalta, wilt cast off the bonds of action. In this there is no waste of even the first attempt. There are no impediments. Even a little of this piety delivers from great fear. Here, O son of Guru, there is only one state of mind, consisting in firm devotion. The minds of those, however, that are not firmly devoted are many-branched, and attached to endless pursuits. That flowery talk which they that are ignorant, they that delight in the words of the Vedas, they, O Baalta, that say that there is nothing else, they whose minds are attached to worldly pleasures, they that regard heaven as the highest object of acquisition, utter, which promises birth as the fruit of action, and which concerns itself with multifarious rights of specific characters for the attainment of pleasures and power, their hearts being deluded by that, the minds of those men who are attached to pleasure and power cannot be directed to contemplation, regarding it as the sole means of emancipation. The Vedas are concerned with three qualities. Be thou, O Arjuna, free from them, unaffected by pairs of contraries, ever adhering to patience, without anxiety for new acquisitions or protection of those already acquired, and self-possessed. Whatever objects are served by a tank or well may all be served by a vast sheet of water extending all around. So whatever objects may be served by all the Vedas may all be had by a Brahmana having knowledge. Thy concern is with work only, but not with the fruit. Let not the fruit be thy motive for work, nor let thy inclination be for inaction. Staying in devotion, apply thyself to work, casting off attachment, O Dhananjaya, and being the same in success or unsuccess. This equanimity is called yoga. Work is far inferior to devotion, O Dhananjaya. Seek thou the protection of devotion. They that work for the sake of food are miserable. He who hath devotion throws off, even in this world, both good actions and bad actions. Therefore apply thyself to devotion. Devotion is only cleverness in action. The wise, possessed of devotion, cast off the fruit born of action, and freed from the obligation of birth, attain to that region where there is no unhappiness. When thy mind shall have crossed the maze of delusion, then shalt thou attain to an indifference as regards the hearable and the heard. When thy mind, distracted by what thou hast heard, will be firmly and immovably fixed on contemplation, then wilt thou attain to devotion. Arjuna said, What, O Keshava, are the indications of one whose mind is fixed on contemplation? How should one of steady mind speak? How sit? How move? The Holy One said, When one casts off all the desires of his heart and is pleased within self with self, then is one said to be of steady mind. He whose mind is not agitated amid calamities, whose craving for pleasure is gone, who is free from attachment, fear, and wrath, is said to be a Muni of steady mind. His is steadiness of mind, who is without affection everywhere, and who feeleth no exultation and no aversion on obtaining diverse objects that are agreeable and disagreeable. When one withdraws his senses from the objects of senses, as the tortoise its limbs from all sides, even his is steadiness of mind. Objects of sense fall back from an abstinent person, but not so the passion. Even the passion recedes from one who has beheld the Supreme. The agitating senses, O son of Kunti, forcibly draw away the mind of even a wise man striving hard to keep himself aloof from them. Restraining them all, one should stay in contemplation, making me his sole refuge. For his is steadiness of mind, whose senses are under control. Thinking of the objects of sense, a person's attachment is begotten towards them. From attachment springeth wrath. From wrath ariseth one of discrimination. From one of discrimination, loss of memory. From loss of memory, loss of understanding. And from loss of understanding is early ruined. But the self-restrained man, enjoying objects with senses freed from attachment and aversion, and under his own control, attaineth to peace. On peace being attained, the annihilation of all his miseries taketh place, since the mind of him whose heart is peaceful soon becometh steady. He who is not self-restrained hath no knowledge. He who is not self-restrained hath no contemplation. He who hath no contemplation hath no peace. Whence can there be happiness for him who hath no peace? For the heart that follows in the wake of the senses moving destroys his understanding like the wind a boat in the waters. Therefore, O thou of mighty arms, his is steadiness of mind, whose senses are restrained on all sides from the objects of sense. The restrained man is awake when it is night for all creatures, and when other creatures are awake, that is night to a discerning Muni. He into whom all objects of desire enter, even as the waters enter the ocean, which constantly replenished, still maintains its watermark unchanged, obtains peace, and not one that longeth for objects of desire. That man who moveth about, giving up all objects of desire, who is free from craving, and who hath no affection and no pride, attaineth to peace. This, O Bhagavata, is the divine state. Attaining to it, one is never deluded. Abiding in it, one obtains on death, absorption into the Supreme Self. Okay. It's fairly long. Namaste. Imam te tiam pra pare maho mahi masia stotre tishono yatata anaje tamutusabe ja prasabe ja 사사히 미는드람 대바사흐 샤바사마다는 나누 아시야 시라보 나디아흐 사브타 비프라티 디아바쿠슈마 브루티비 달샤탐 바푸흐 아스메 수리야 자는드라마사 비짜쿠슈에 시렛 Sorry. 시라드테 까미는드라 짜라또 비탈뚜라무 땀 스마 라탐 마카바는 브라바 사타예 자이트람 얌테 아누마다마 삼가메 아자 나 이는드라 마나사 부르슈뚜따 드바야트비오 마카반 찰마 야츠차 나흐 바얌 자예마 드바야 유자 부르타마스마 까맘 샤무 부르타마스마 까맘 샤무다바 파레 아스마 피아미는드라 바리바흐 수감 구르티 브라 샤투루넘 마카바는 부르슈누여 루자 Sorry. 나나 히트바 하바마나 자나 이메 타나남 탈따라바사 비바니아바흐 아스마감 스마 라타마 드슈터 사타예 자이트람 히는드라 니프르땀 마나스타바 고지따 바후 아미타크라투흐 시마흐 깔마는 깔만차따무 띠 깔마는 깔만차따무 띠흐 카잠까라흐 아까릴빠 My headphone just died. Give me 1 second. 아까를 Can demons enter electricity? Or is it just out of battery? Alright, give me like 30 seconds. 아까레빠 이는드라흐 브라티마 나모자사타 자나비 흐바야는때 시슈 사바흐 우드때 샤타는 마카바는 누츠차 부야사 우트사하스라들이디제 그르시뚜이슈 시라바흐 아마드람 뜨바 뒤쇼노 디트비슈에 마히아티아 브르트라누이 지크나시 지크나세 보람다라 드리비슈투이타투 프라티마나모자사스티스라우 프라티마나모자사스티스라우 부밀누르 부밀누르빠떼 뜨리누이 로짜사 로짜나 아띠담 비슈밤 부바남 바바쿠슈이타 샤투르리는 바바쿠슈이타 샤투르리는드라 자누셔 사나다시 드밤 데베슈 브라타맘 하바마헤 드밤 바푸타 부르타나수 사사히흐 세맘 나흐 까루무파마니우무드 피다 까루무파마니우무드 피라미는드라 까루무파마니우무드 피라 까루무파마니우무드 피라 피다 까루무파마니우무드 피다미는드라흐 그리노투 브라사베 라탐 뿌라흐 드밤 지게타 나 타나 루도티탈 페 루도티탈 페시바사 마카바는 마하투수 자 드바무그라마바세 삼 시시마시아타 나 이는드라 하바네슈 쪼다야 비시바 헤는드로 아티바크타 노 아스드바빠리 흐르드 흐부르타 아스드바빠리 흐부르타 흐 사누야마 빠자무 따는노 밑으로 바르노 마마하는 따마디티흐 시는두흐 브루티비 우따 디아우흐. Namaste. That was a rough reading. It's not even charging. Okay. Ay. To thee, the mighty armed one, I bring this mighty hymn, for thy desire hath been gratified by my Lord. And Inandra, ye in him victorious through his strength, the gods have joyed at feast and when the Soma flowed. The 7 rivers bear his glory far and wide, and heaven and sky and earth display his comely form. The sun and moon in change alternate run their course, that we, O Indra, may behold and may have faith. Makavan, grant us that same car to bring us spoil, thy conquering car in which we joy in shock of fight. Thou Inandra, whom our hearts praise highly in the war, grant shelter, Makavan, to us who love thee well. Encourage thou our side in every fight. May we with thee for our ally conquer the foeman's host. Inandra, bestow on us joy and felicity. Break down, O Makavan, the vigor of our foes. For here in diverse ways these men invoking thee, holder of treasures, sing thee hymns to win thine aid. Ascend the car that thou mayest bring spoil to us, for Inandra, thy fixed mind winneth the victory. His arms win kind, his power is boundless, in each act best, with 100 helps waker of battle's din, is Inandra. None may rival him in mighty strength. Hence, eager for the spoil, the people call on him. Thy glory, Makavan, exceeds 100, yea, more than 100, than 1,000 mid the folk. The great bowl hath inspirited thee boundlessly. So mayest thou slay the Vrutras, breaker down of forts. Of thy great might there is a threefold counterpart, the 3 earths, Lord of men, and the 3 realms of light. Above this whole world, Inandra, thou hast waxen great. Without a foe art thou by nature from of old. We invocate thee first among the deities. Thou hast become a mighty conqueror in fight. May Inandra fill with spirit this our singer's heart, and make our car impetuous, foremost in attack. Thou hast prevailed and hast not kept the booty back, in trifling battles or in those of great account. We make thee keen, the mighty one, to succor us. Inspire us, Makaban, when we defy the foe. May Indra evermore be our protector, and unimperiled may we win the booty. This prayer of ours may Varuna grant, and Mitra and Aditya send to earth and heaven. I have no music. It sucks. Namaste. Patanjala Yoga Sutra Nui. Tatra Dvitiyahu Sadhana Padahu. Uddishitahu Samahita Chittatasya Yogahu. Katham Bhutitita Chittatopi Yoga Yukutahu. Syaditya Tada Rapyate. Tapahu Subhatya Yeshivara Pranuitanani Kriya Yogahu. Tapasvino Yogahu Sityati Anadikaima Klesha Basana Chitra Pratyupasthita Vishaya Jala Jashudatilnaran Jashudatilnanan Tareno Tapahu Sampedama Padiyata Iti Tapasa Upadanam Tachicha Chitta Prasadanama Tamanaman Chitta Prasadamanabat Tamanamanena Savyamiti Chitta Prasadamabat Tamanamanena Savyamiti Maniate. Sivatyayahu Pranabadipa Vitranam Japo Mokushosha Satratiayanam Pa Ishvara Pranuitanam Salvakriyanam Paramagura Vaipanam Paramagura Vaipanam Tatapala Samnya So Pa. Book 2nd, Means of Attainment. It has been stated what the yoga is of one whose mind is concentrated. Gives the start to the problem how even one whose mind stuff is emergent may be concentrated in concentration. Self-castigation and study and devotion to the Ishvara are the yoga of action. Yoga is not perfected in him who is not self-castigated. Impurity, which is variegated with subconscious impressions, from time without beginning, coming from the hindrances and from kaima, and into which the net of objects have found entrance, is not reduced except by self-castigation. This is the use of self-castigation, and this, not being inhibitory to the undisturbed calm of the mind stuff, is therefore deemed to be worthy of his earnest attention. Recitation is the repetition of purifying formulae such as the mystic syllable or the study of books on liberation. Devotion to the Ishvara is the offering up of all actions to the Supreme Teacher, or the renunciation of the fruit of these. Namaste. Sa hi kriya yogaha samadhi pavanaltaha gleshatanu karanol tashijam sa hya sevyamanaha samadhim pavayati glesham shija pratanu karoti pratanu kurutanan glesham pratanu kurutanan gleshan parasamkhyanagam pratanu kurutanan gleshan parasamkhyanagana Nagatabi jakaripana prasavataminoho Nagatabi jakaripana prasavataminoho Karishyoti ti Deshum tanu karano tupunaho Kleshaira paramurishito Kleshaira paramurishito Sattva purusho niyatama trakhyatiha Sukushama prajanya samapathikara prati prasavaya kalpishyota iti. Now, this yoga of action is for the cultivation of concentration and for the attenuation of the hindrances. For when the yoga of action is given earnest attention, it cultivates concentration, attenuates the hindrances to an extreme degree, will make the hindrances, when they are extremely attenuated, disqualify for propagation like seeds burnt by the fire of elevation. But the subtle insight, which is the discriminative discernment between the sattva and the self, untouched by the hindrances because they are so much attenuated, with its task finished, will be ready for inverse propagation. Ata ke te klesha kiyananto peti avidya smita ragadvesha pini avidya smita ragadvesha pini veshaha. Number 2. Pancha Klesha iti pancha viparyaya iti arthaha. Te Syanandamana Sipanandamana Gunatikaram Drathayananti Parinamamapasitha payananti Karyakaranasurota Ununamayananti Parasapara nugrahatanantri Bhutva Kalmavipakam Japinilharananti ti. Now, what are these hindrances and how many are they? Undifferentiated consciousness and the feeling of personality and passion and aversion and the will to live are the 5 hindrances. This means that the so-called hindrances are 5 misconceptions. These, when flowing out, make the authority of the aspects more rigid, make a mutation more stable, swell the stream of effects and causes, and becoming interdependent upon one another for aid, bring forth the fruition of karma. Now check the chat. Okay. Namaste. Avidya Kushwatram Kushwatram Uttataresham Parasuputatanu Parasuputatanu Vichachinano Parasuputatanu Vichachinano Dharanam Atra Vidya Kushwatram Prasava Pumiruttaresha Masmita Dinam Chatulvita Vikalpanam. Two versions of this word. Vika. Oh, Chatulvika Vikalpanam. Tha Kalipitanam. Tha Chatulvita Kalpi. Chatulvita Kalpitanam. Chatulvita Kalpitanam. Parasuputatano Vichachinnoda. Parasuputatano Vichachinnodaranam. Tatra Ka Parasupatiha Jatasi Shakati Matra Paratishitana. Shakati Matra Paratishithanam Bija Pavo Pagamaha Tasya Prabhuta Alamambane. Samukhi Pavaha Prasamkhya Nabato Dagata Klesha Bijasya Samukhi Putepya Lamambane Nasao Punarasati Dagata Bijasya Kutaha Praroha Iti Ataha Kushvina Kleshaha Kushala Shicharamadeha Iti Uchyate Tatraiva Sa Dagata Bijapava Panchami Klesha Vasata Nanyatrepi Satam Kleshanam Tada Bijasamaltiam Dagatamiti Vishayasya Samukhi Pavepi Sati Na Pavatiesham Prabhuta Ityukata Parasuputil Dagatabi Janamapura Rohashicha. Sorry. Parasuputil Dagatabi Janamapura Rohashicha. Tanutuva Mujiate Pratipakusha Pavano Pahata Kleshasatana Bo Pavananti Tata Vichachidia Tena Temana Punaha. Number 1 Sa Punaha Samuda Charananti Ti Vichachinanaha Katam Ragakale Grotasya Daishanat Na Hi Ragakale Grotaha Samuda Charati Ragashaja Kavachid Duru. I need to look this up. It's alright. Tururu or tuduru. Sorry about this. It sucks without music. Guvacid. Guvacid. 들으시야. Okay, so it's double D. Guvacid 들으시. Guvacid 들으시야마노. Guvacid 들으시야마노. I could have just said two things. Whatever. 비셔야는 딸에 나스티. 나이카시암. 스트리암. 자이트로 라크타. 이티아니아수. 스트리슈. 비라크타흐. Ooh, fuzzy text. Kim tu tatra 라고 라브타 부르트띠라느냐 라브타 부르트띠라니아뜨라 뚜 바바시어드 부르 바비시어드 부르트띠리띠 사히 따다 브라소보다따노 비치치는 노 브라소보다따노 비치치는 노 바바띠 비쇼에 요 라브타브르트띠흐 사 우다라흐 사이바 에바이테 글레샤 비쇼야트밤 나티그라마는띠 Glesha at Evite. I don't see it. Ah, here we go. Okay. 나티그라마는띠 가스달히 비치치는 나흐 브라수부타스 타누루다로 바 글레샤 이티 우치아테 사티아메 바이타트 김투 비시시트 나메 바이테셴 I don't read that text because it's not accurate. 비치치는 나 디트바무 야타이바 프라티파크셔파바 나또 니부르트 따스타 타이바 Sorry about all this. The text is really fuzzy. Svavyanja janena pivyakata. Number 1. Svavyanja janena janena pivyakata. Salva iti Salva evami klesha avidya pedah. Evami kasmat salveshiva vidyai va pimplabate salveshiva vidyai va piplabate yada vidyaya vasutva karyate tadeva nushe tadeva nusharate klesha piparya sapratya yakala upalapyanante kushviyamanam cha vidyamanu kushviyananta iti. I want to check these two words. Piparya. Upalapya. Kushviyamanam cha vidyamanu kushviyananta iti. Okay. Undifferentiated consciousness is the field for the others, whether they be dormant or attenuated or intercepted or sustained. Of these, undifferentiated consciousness is the field propagative soil. The others are feeling of personality and the rest. In 4 kinds of forms, the dormant and the attenuated and the intercepted and the sustained. Of these, what is the dormant state? It is the tendency which will remain merely potential in the mind towards the condition of seed. The awakening of that is the coming face to face with the object. But for one who has elevation and whose hindrances have become burnt seed, there is not that, even when he is brought face to face with the object. For out of what can burnt seed germinate? For this reason, the fortunate man whose hindrances have dwindled away is said to be in his last body. In him only the burnt state of the seeds, the 5th stage of the hindrances, and not in other. So although the hindrances are existent, the vitality of the seed is said to be already burnt. Accordingly, even when the object is face to face, there is no awakening of these. Thus dormancy and the failure of the burnt seed to propagate have been described. Attenuation is now described. The hindrances, when overpowered by the cultivation of their opposites, becomes attenuated. When this is the case, intercept repeatedly and move forth actively again in this or that form. In that case, they are called intercepted. How is this? Since when one is in love, no anger is felt, inasmuch as when one is in love, anger does not actively move forth, and love, when felt in one direction, is by no means unfelt towards another object. When Chāitara is known to be in love with one woman, it is not assumed that he is out of love for other women. Rather, his love finds its fluctuation fixed in this direction. In other directions, its fluctuation is yet to come. For this is for the moment both dormant and attenuated and intercepted. That fluctuation which is fixed upon an object is sustained. No one of all these passes beyond the limits of the hindrances. If this is so, what is this hindrance that is intercepted, dormant, attenuated, or sustained? The answer is now given. It is exactly true. But only when these are particularized do they become intercepted and so on. For just as these stages cease when their opposites are cultivated, so they become manifest when into the phenomenal form by the operation of their phenomenalizing conditions. So all those hindrances without exception are varieties of undifferentiated consciousness. Why is this? Since it is undifferentiated consciousness and nothing else that pervades all. Whatever object is given a form by the undifferentiated consciousness, it is that which is permeated by the hindrances. Whenever there's a misconceived idea, they become apperceived, and when undifferentiated consciousness dwindles, they too dwindle away. Namaste. Tatra vidya suvar Tatra vidya svaru pamuchyate anitya shuchi duhaka tamasu nitya shuchi sukha tamakya tirat nitya shuchi sukha tamakya tiravidya anitya karye nitya khyatihu tadyatha turva purtivi Turuva Sacanandra Taraka Diauha Amurta Divaukasa Iti Tata Shuchao Paramabi Patase Gaye. I want to check this, and there's number 1. Gate Shuchikyatihu Ukudam Ja Sit Okay. Ukudam Ja Sita. I'm sorry, that's redundant. Okay. Sthana bija dupashitapya damam paniha syanandani tanadapi Sthana bija dupashitamam pananiha syanandani nitanadapi Sthana bija dupashitamam pananiha syanandani Sthana bija dupashitamam pananiha syanandana nitanadapi Sthana bija dupashitamam pananiha syanandana nitanadapi Kayamateya shauchat Suba tuva shauchat tuva. Yeah. Kayamate ya shauchat parinun panunduita Kayamate ya shauchat panunduita Kayamate ya sorry Kayamate ya shauchat panun. Alright, I'm gonna take like 30-second break. Have 30 minutes left. Kayamateya shauchat panunduita Hyashuchim biduha Iti ashuchao shuchikyat dildurushiyate Naveva shashangan kaleka Kamaniyayam kaniya Matva murta vayavad nilmita deva Matva murta vayavad nilmitava pirab nilpitava. No, it can be nilpitava. Matva Where is it? 밑에 봐. 마트바 무르따 바야바 닐 밑에 봐. 짜는드람 피트바 니허스르 때봐. 진야야때. 니 로트 발라 빠뜨라 야티. 니 로트 발라 빠는 니 로트 발라 빠뜨라 야따. 니 로트 발라 빠뜨라 야따 그슈이. 하바 갈파 피암 로짜나 피암 지바로까마 시바 사야는 지바로까마 시바 사야는 띠베띠 가시야 깨나 비삼바는 타흐 바바띠 짜이바마 슈짜오 슈치 비파리야 사프라티아야 이띠 에테나 부누여 프라티아야 스타 타이바날 부누여 프라티아야 스타 타이바날테 짤타 프라티아요 미야키아타흐 Tata duhoke sukhakyati. What is that fuzziness? Tim. Sukhakyatim pakushiyati. Parino mata pasamskara duhokail guna burututi nirota jaja. Parino mata pasamskara duhokail guna burututi birota jaja. Parino mata pasamskara duhokail guna burututi birota jaja. 두헉함에바 살밤 비베키나흐 이띠 따뜨라 수카키야 띠라비디야 따타나 드마니아 드마키야 딜바 히오 바카라누에슈 따타나 드마니아 마니아 따타나 드마니아 드마키야 딜바 히오 바카라누에슈 제타네슈 포가 티슈트네 바 샤리레 부루쇼 바카라누에 바 마나시아나 드마니아 드마키야 딜리띠 따타이따라 뚜로끄땀 비아끄땀아 비아끄땀 바 사드바 마 사트바마 드마베나 비뿌라 사트바마 드마베나 비뿌라띠띠야 사트바마 야 따시야 삼바다마누 나는 다띠야 드마 삼바담 마는 바 나스타시야 비아바다마누 쇼짜띠야 드마 비아바담 마는 바 나흐 사 살보프라띠 부드타흐 이띠 에슈 짜투시파다 파바티야 비디야 무라마시야 클레샤 삼타나시야 깔마샤야시야 자 사비바 가시에티 다시야 시자 미트라 고시바다 바드 바수투 다시야 시자 미트라 고시바다 바다 바수투 바드 바다 다바드 바수투 다시야 시자 미트라 고시바다 바드 바수투 사타트밤 비지니야무 야타 나 미트로 미트라 바보 나 미트라 마남 미트라 마트람. Really? It's fishy. 미트라. Yeah, okay. Kim tu 다드 비루드 타흐 사파트 나흐 야타 자 고시바담 바 고시바담 나 고시바다 바보 나 고시바다 마드람 김두 대샤 에바 다 피아마니아드 바스드 바는 따라무 다 피아마니아드 바스드 바는 따라무 에바마 비디아 나 브라마넘 나 브라마너 바바흐 김투 비디아 비파리땀 지냐나는 따라마 비디에티 지냐나는 따라마 비디에티. Okay. At this point, undifferentiated consciousness itself is described. The recognition of the permanent, of the pure, of pleasure, and of a self in what is impermanent, impure, pain, and not self is undifferentiated consciousness. It is the recognition of the permanent in an impermanent fact. For example, that the earth should be perpetual, that the sky with the moon and stars should be perpetual, that celestial beings are deathless. Likewise, in the impure and highly repulsive body, there has been the recognition of purity. And it has been said, because of its abode, because of its origin, because of its sustenance, because of its exudations, because of its disease, and because it needs cleaning, the learned recognize that the body is impure. Here the recognition of the pure and the impure is evident. If we say, this girl, beautiful as the sickle of the new moon, her limbs formed of honey and nectar, her eyes large as the petals of the blue lotus, seeming to refresh the living world with her coquettish glances, so that we think that she has issued forth from the moon. Now what could be the connection of this with that? Just so it is that there is a misconceived idea of the pure and the impure. In this way, the idea of merit where there is only demerit, and of the useful where there is only the useless. Similarly, we'll describe the recognition of pleasure and pain in the words, by reason of the pains of mutations and of anguish and of subliminal impressions, and by reason of the opposition of fluctuations of the aspects, to the discriminating all is nothing but pain. Undifferentiated consciousness is the recognition that there is pleasure in this. Likewise, the recognition of a self in the not-self, either in external aids, whether animate or inanimate, or in the body as the seat of outer experience, or in the central organ which aids the self. This is the recognition of a self in the not-self. In this sense it has been said of this. He who counts any existing thing, whether phenomenalized or unphenomenalized, as himself, or who rejoices in the success of these, deeming it his own success, or who grieves at the ill success of these, deeming it his own ill success, these are all unenlightened. It is this fourfold undifferentiated consciousness which becomes the root of that unbroken series of hindrances and of latent impressions of karma, together with its fruition. And this undifferentiated consciousness, precisely as in the case of a foal or of a trackless forest, is to be conceived as a really existing object, just as a foe is not a negative friend, not something amounting to a friend, but the opposite of this, a rival. So to a trackless forest is not visited by cows, nor again is it merely a land which has a cow's foot as its measure, but on the contrary, it is nothing less than a definite place, a different thing other than these two. Precisely so, undifferentiated consciousness is not a source of valid ideas, nor the negation of a source of valid ideas, but another kind of thinking, the reverse of knowledge. Okay, checking the chat. Nothing. 15 more minutes. Namaste. Dirigo Daishana Shakatiyo. Dirigo Daishana Shakatiyo Rekat. Dirigo Daishana Shakatiyo Rekat Mateva Smita. Purusho Dirigo Shakatil Buddha. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiriti Riva Smita. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiriva. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiriva. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiriva. Patatiriva. Sorry. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiri. Dirigo Shakatil Buddha Tildaishana Shakati Ritieta Yoreka Svarupa Patatiriva Smita. Glensha Ujjate. Poku드르 포기야 샤크티옷 라띠아는 따비파크다 요라는 요라띠아는 따 삼키 너 요라 비파가 브라브다 비바 포크들이 포기야 샤크티오라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비파크다 요레까 요라띠아 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠안 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 띠아는 따 삼키 너 요라 비파 A little tired. 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 띠안 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라까 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 딴 띠아는 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오. I'm thinking maybe I should limit my Sanskrit reading to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Because now I don't need to cover that much. I'm just repeating myself. 포크들을 포기야 샤크티오라 띠아는 따비 파크다 요라 띠아는 따 삼키 너 요라 비파가 브라브다 비바 사띠암 포가흐 까르바테 스바루바 프라티라문페 두 다요흐 가발리아메바 파바티 구토 포가 이티 따타 쪼그타무 무드티타흐 바람 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파카타 마파시아는 꾸리야 따뜻따뜻라트 마누마 부드팀. Like 3 really difficult words in one comment. 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파카타 마파시아는 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파카타 마파시아는 꾸리야 뜨따뜨라트 마부드팀. 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파크타 마파 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파크타 마파시아. Help me. Namaste. 부르셔마가 라시라비디아 딜피비 파크타 마파시아는 Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Pibi Pakat Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Pibi Pakata Dil Pibi Pakata Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Pibi Pakata Ma Pasyanan Kuriyat Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Pibi Purushama Shila Vidya Dil Pibi Pakata Ma Pasyanan Kuriyat Tatrat Ma Buddhatim Mohena Iti. When the power of seeing and the power by which one sees have the appearance of being a single self, the feeling of personality. The self is the power of seeing. The thinking substance is the power by which one sees. The hindrance, called the feeling of personality, is a change by which these two appear to become a single essence. When there is any kind of failure to distinguish him who has the power of the enjoyer from that which has the power of being enjoyed, which are as distinct as possible and as unconfused as possible, enjoyment is ready at hand. But when each has recovered its own essence, there is isolation. How is it that could be called enjoyment? In this sense it has been said, he who should fail to see that the self is other than the thinking substance, distinct in nature and in character and in consciousness and in other respects, would make the mistake of putting his own thinking substance in the place of that. And two short sutras coming up. Sukhanushayi ragaha Sukha pijinyasya Sukhanusmurti purvaha Sukhe tat satane ma yo kaltasaturashano lopaha sa raga iti. Passion is that which dwells upon pleasure, that greed, thirst, desire, on the part of one acquainted with pleasure, ensuing upon a recollection of pleasure, for either the pleasure or for the means of attaining it, is passion. Tuhakanushai deveshaha Tuhakanushai deveshaha Tuhaka pijinyasya Tuhakanu samura Tuhakanu samurati pulvo Tuhake tatasatane ba yaha pratiko maniulji kam sa grotaha sa deveshaha. The text is fuzzy. Well, I wanted to check this one and maybe that one. Okay. Kurotaha. Aversion is that which dwells upon pain, that repulsion, wrath, anger on the part of one acquainted with pain ensuing upon a recollection of pain, for either the pain or for the means of attaining it, is aversion. Namaste. Alright, how much time? Alright, just one more and then I'm done. I'll check the comments. Okay, just one more. Namaste. 스바라사바 스바라사바히 비두쇼피 따타 루토피니 베샤흐 살바시아 브라누이나 야마트마실 니티야 파바티 마나 마. The text is not good. 부밤 부야사미띠 나 짜나누 부타마라노 탈마카시아이셔 바바티아 드마시흐 에타야 짜. What in the world? Yeah. 볼바자는 마누 파바흐 브라티야테 사 짜야마 피니베 짜야마 피니베샤흐 짜야마 피니베샤흐 글레샤흐 스바라사바히 그르메라피 짜타마트라시아 브라티아크쇼 누마나가마이라. I want to check this word. Savana. Savaira. Where is it? Meh. Savaira. Sivara Sabahi. Yeah, okay. Pratyakusho Numana Gamaira Sampabito Maranotra Sa Uchicheda Durishito Uchicheda Durishituyo Demakahu Bulbajanaman Putam Maranoduhakamanuma Payati Gurumerapi Jadama Yata Jayamatianantamu Tue Jata Jayamatianantamu Tueshu. Durushiate, Gleshasatata, Vidushopi, Virginia, Tapulba, Paranantasia, Rutuhu, Kasamat, Samana, Hi, Tayohu, Kushala Yol, Marano, Kushala Yol, Marano Duhakanu, Pabadiam, Kushala Yor Marano Yor Marano Duhakanu Pabadiam Basaneti Kushala Yor Marano Duhakanu Pabadiam Basaneti Kushala Yor Marano Duhakanu Pabadiam Basaneti. I want to probably do another one because it's really short. I think it'll help. The will to live, sweeping on its own nature, exists in this form even in the wise. In all living beings, this craving for oneself ceaselessly rises. May I not cease to live, may I live. This craving for oneself does not arise except in one in whom the experience of death resides. And from of this, the experience of other births is made clear. And this is that well-known hindrance, the will to live. This, inconceivable as a result of either perception or inference or verbal communication, sweeping on its own nature as a vision of extermination, forces the inference that the pangs of death have already been experienced in previous births. And just as it is evident that this fear is to be found in the unspeakably stupid, so also even in the wise who have some understanding of the prior limit and of their final limit. Why is this? Because this subconscious impression, the result of the fear of death, is alike in both fortunate and unfortunate. Alright, so one more, because that'll help. Namaste. Te prati prasabhaya prati prasabhaya sukushima te pancha klesha dagatabi jakaripa yoginashi chirata tikare cetasi praline saha tenaiva satam kachichananti sukushoma te prati prasabhaya sukushoma te pancha klesha dagatabi jakaripa yoginashi chitata yoginashi charita tikare cetasi praline saha tenaiva satam kachichananti. Okay, done. No more. Those subtle are to be escaped by the inverse propagation. These 5 hindrances, when they have become like burnt seeds, after the mind which has predominated over the deeds of the yogin is resolved, come with it to rest. Okay, that's it. Yeah, it kind of really sucks without music. Check the comment for the last time. So today I did up to Sudra 10. Thank you for sticking around, people. Thank you very much. Namaste. In King Yahusha's name, God bless you all. I'm gonna do a Bible reading in about 2 hours. Yeah, I'm trying to wake up early. Ideally speaking, because I do the Kabbalah magic, and you have to do it when the sun is up. So ideally, I should rise when the sun rises, because otherwise, like if I don't do my Kabbalah prayer magic, whatever, and I sleep through it, sometimes I'll have really, really bad nightmares, and that reminds me that I'm a being that shouldn't have been alive because of what I've been through. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you very much. Namaste. See you soon.